On a time series page, you will see a time series graph that was created after performing a query. The time series graph may display red and yellow dots, which represent the output of the detection algorithm that was chosen when the query was defined. Note that the detection on the time series page is run dynamically with the most up-to-date data that is available. If we move our mouse over each of the dots, we will see information such as the date, the p-value, the count, the expected count, and if it is a switch-based detector, which part of the switch detector was chosen. If we want to see the query that we performed, we can select Description, which will display all of the filters currently chosen. If we close Description and look at the configuration options, we will see a screen similar to the Query Wizard. From here, we can make changes to our existing query if needed. Below the time series graph, there is an option called Add Overlay, which will allow us to take the results of an additional query and add them to the existing graph. There are also some pop-up options for creating stacked graphs or detector comparison plots. Further down, we will see the data table itself, where we can see the date, the counts, the expecteds, and the detection level, as well as hyperlinks that will take us to the data details for that individual day or a map view for that individual day. Back up towards the top, there are a couple options we want to take a closer look at. One of them is Data Series Options, which allows you to stratify a query by a particular variable. There are two options, within graph stratification and across graph stratification. Within graph will create multiple series lines within a single graph. Across graphs will take each stratification and create a different graph for it specifically. So for instance, if I choose within graph sex and across graph age group and then click Update, now I have graphs that represent each of the age groups individually with multiple series on each graph by sex with detection values for them individually as well. If you want to view these graphs on a common y-axis, you can choose the micrographs option. This will create micro-sized graphs with the option to have a free y-axis or a common y-axis. If you need to get back to your original query, you can go back to the configuration options, leave the settings as they are, and just select Time Series button. Now we're back to the original time series graph. Other options on this page include providing a name for the query. For our example, we'll call it Fever Query. You can then save the query, which will save your query into the Query Manager, or create a MyAlert based on this query, or create a report query that can be used in the Report Manager. You can also add the query to a MyEssence dashboard, or share the URL for this query to other people.